bad Viking placement there, actually, from TLO. TLO would have been much better off having his Vikings here, dealing damage. This means that the Stalkers that were all over here wouldn't have been able to deal quite so much damage to those Vikings, would have been forced to have to pull back to over here, and all the forces of TLO would have been able to deal massive damage while those forces retreat. Either that, or Grubby would have lost all of his Colossi there, but TLO not getting the best of positions. Looks like he is now going to be forced to take this lower expansion, going to be playing just a little bit safer. Grubby retaking that gold expansion. It has been delayed by a little bit, but Grubby in a pretty good food lead right now. 150 food to the 140 food of TLO. Looks like Grubby is going to be moving here, denying this orbital command, and it looks like he might actually be able to take out this orbital command. The forces of TLO right now are spinning down to try to prevent this orbital command from going down. This orbital command is getting repaired by a couple of SCVs down on the floor, but all the Vikings are now being taken out, trying to deal damage to those Colossi, but these Stalkers able to take out all of those Vikings, and it looks like that Colossi is going to be taken out there to the stimmed ground forces of TLO. One scan going down to see how many forces Grubby has in his reinforcements there for TLO, and it looks like that expansion does manage to survive. So very nice play there by TLO, very nice save by TLO. And looks like Grubby's expansion has been delayed quite a bit. He is now mined out at his main. A lot of workers still here that he's probably going to be transferring over to his gold expansion here pretty shortly. His natural's getting pretty close to mined out as well. A lot of his mineral patches only have a couple of hundred minerals left, and his third expansion is actually looking starting to look a little light as well. They are about halfway depleted there, it looks like. Now transferring probes to that gold expansion is going to be getting a big econ boost from having this gold expansion. TLO is going to have to do some damage here if he's going to want to be able to keep up with the economy. One drop now coming around the side of the map for TLO. Looks like he's going to be sneaking around the side, and it looks like he's going to be there just as Grubby throws down this expansion. If Grubby is not very quick, he's not going to be able to cancel this expansion, and it looks like... will he get the cancel off? No, it looks like he's not actually going to cancel. It looks like he's going to try to keep it there. All the forces now moving back, and no, there goes the cancel from Grubby. Very nice cancel there. Manages to cancel it at the very, very last second. TLO pulling back, having denied another expansion. Knows all the forces here are now being pulled back from Grubby, but look at this. In the meantime, all those forces from Grubby are now being pulled back to try to take out this drop. In the meantime, all of these forces are going to be able to come in and deal a lot of damage here to Grubby. The scan goes down. Grubby has just now realized his error. All his forces now frantically pulling back. The forces of TLO now moving in, focusing down that Nexus. EMP's going down on the Nexus to try to take it down, but no, looks like the forces of Grubby have managed to get here in time and are now forcing all the forces of TLO back. Grubby now in an excellent position. 197 food right now, almost maxed to TLO's 140 food. And we have to keep in mind that a lot of TLO's food is in SCVs right now. 60 of his food is currently in SCVs. And the forces of Grubby now just going to be streaming forward to secure this gold expansion. He's going to be getting all his workers mining on that gold, and he is pushing out very aggressively here, and it looks like Grubby is in an excellent position here to deal a lot of damage. Small number of Zealots being split off to go deal with this expansion here while this Colossi comes in to move in, deal damage to this third. Nice feedback there, goes down on that Ghost, and is able to take it out. More forces from TLO streaming in right now, but very nice Psystorm goes down there from Grubby. As all those forces are forced into that narrow choke, the Psystorm goes down, getting a major hit on all those ground forces. Grubby now actually pulling back, still in a commanding position, macroing like a boss. 181 food right now, despite all the forces he has lost. He's warping in more forces here, and is going to be able to push again here pretty shortly. TLO now kind of on the ropes here, as he is now just mining from only one base here, as his natural is out, as well as his main. He is only on one base. He really needs to reestablish this base, or even pull something risky and try to take that gold expansion, because he is not in a good place right now. Grubby sitting at 200 food, definitely doing very well, not seeing a whole lot of Vikings, so he's starting to produce a lot more Colossi to deal with this heavy ground unit composition from TLO, and TLO here is in a lot of trouble. All the forces of Grubby now here moving in on the expansion. Some EMPs are going to need to go down here, but I don't think there are actually any Ghosts right now in this composition for TLO, so it looks like he's just going to have to be forced to go for straight damage, try to get himself into a very, very good positions here, trying to get that Viking count up. Only a few Vikings on the field. Checking out the unit counting station right now, we can see that there are 3 Vikings currently out on the field. Very heavy barracks count right now for TLO. Looks like we have, holy cow, a ton of barracks, 9 barracks currently on the field. 2 starport reactors producing Vikings right now. This is going to also help him keep that medevac count nice and high, keep all of these units up and alive. 1 engineering bay down, all a lot of very early upgrades here that have gone down. We are currently sitting at 3-2 upgrades for all these Marauders. These Marauders are going to be able to deal massive amounts of damage to those armored units, 26 damage per shot from those Marauders, and it looks like Grubby here is going to be choosing to be aggressive once again. He is now moving in and is now throwing down, interestingly enough, 3 robotics facilities. 3 robotics facilities now coming down for Grubby. Looks like Grubby's going to be going for a much heavier Colossus numbers, and looks like nice Side Storms that are going down, trying to take out as many of those Vikings as he can, but actually TLO actually getting in a very, very good position here, coming in, taking out all those Colossi. This means these Stalkers are going to fall very, very fast to TLO's forces here. Grubby's still very far ahead in the food count, 133 to the 90 or the 100 food of TLO. TLO is now going to try to push in here, try to deal as much damage as he can. If we check out the Harvester count right now, 76 Harvesters to the 28 of TLO. I don't know if this is because TLO has been sacrificing his Harvesters. It's definitely becoming a more common style of play. I'm going to check out the workers killed count. No, actually, in actuality, it looks like he was able to get in here, deal a lot of damage to this mineral line, and 49 workers killed right now for Grubby. Grubby just in an amazing place. I actually missed that drop. I'm surprised I missed that drop. I cannot believe I missed that drop. And you know what? I'm actually going to go back, because you know how much. Anytime I miss SCV damage, I always got to go back and check it out, guys. I always got to do it. I always have to do it. Forces going down, battles happening, battles happening. Where did those workers killed come from? Not here yet, not here yet. Still not that many workers killed. It looks like it might have been during that last engagement. Yes, during that last engagement here, a lot of workers were taken out. So it looks like, yeah, in this engagement, we're going to have to see what exactly happened here for TLO to lose so many workers. And it looks like, no, it was just workers lost at that other base down here. They were workers lost from that attack on this base, and it looks like when he tried to re-expand there, a lot of workers were taken out there, getting him up to that 30 workers killed count. So it looks like they have been workers that have been gradually killed over time. Looks like another few workers were probably taken out in this expansion here. We are almost back to where we were. And yeah, sure enough, looks like one Zealot was split off to deal damage here while this big fight was going on here in the main. And Grubby lost all his forces here. All these SCVs were being taken out in the bottom by these 2 Zealots, so not a bad trade there actually for Grubby. Despite losing a lot of his forces, 48 workers killed. He is in a good place economically right now. And it looks like the forces of TLO are now going to be moving out to try to deal some damage of their own. TLO not the best place with that worker count at 28 to the 78 workers of TLO. A scan going down, trying to see what his opponent has at his base. TLO moving in with a few forces, but nice Side Storms there from Grubby. Going to be taking out a lot of the forces of TLO. They're dealing a lot of damage. This means that those medevacs are going to be forced to waste a lot of energy on healing up all of these units, essentially making them pretty useless for anything other than drops at this point in time. And I'm actually surprised that I'm not seeing TLO go for more drops. At this point in time, not a whole lot of drop play coming from TLO. It looks like he's being forced to stick all of his groups into a very large, heavy death balls that he can try to deal a lot of damage with. And the forces of Grubby once again moving out, trying to keep up this pressure on his opponent, making sure his opponent is not focusing too much on that macro. Nice Side Storms going down all around, so much damage being dealt to all these biological units. And Grubby again remaxed at 200 food, pushing out again at that 200 food mark, way ahead in the food count to TLO's 140 food. TLO struggling right now to stay alive. He's going to need to do something to make this happen. Grubby now taking all of his expansions, is now taking his 5th base. His gold expansion is getting close to being mined out, running out of a lot of resources there at his gold expansion. And TLO is going to have to do something dramatic here if he's going to want to keep up. A few ghosts now coming out ahead, getting a few good snipes off on those Zealots, getting a few nice early kills before those forces engaged, and a nice EMP went down, also getting one of those sentries, meaning less force fields from Grubby, and a lot of shield damage there to the forces of Grubby there at the front. Looks like Grubby is actually going to sit back right now in the base of Grubby. I'm seeing a lot of Colossi coming out right now, is currently getting a lot of upgrades for those gateway units. We can see that he is now 3-2-3. That is three 3 damage, 3 armor, and 2 on the shield, now getting his +3 shields upgrades. So we are seeing a very, very strong late game here from both players. Fully upgraded units on both sides of the map here. And it looks like we are now seeing Warp Prism as well as Chromatic Drive. That is Warp Prism speed. So it looks like we are going to be seeing, now that Grubby is maxed, he's going to be going for some heavy drop play, dropping down a lot of Psystorms as he retreats, forcing TLO to walk into all of those Psystorms. Lots of damage being dealt, but a lot of very nice EMPs actually going down for TLO, and TLO is actually dealing a lot of very good shield damage to those forces. Feedbacks going down on those ghosts. Psystorms going off on a lot of the forces here for TLO. This means that TLO is going to be forced to pull back just a little bit, and the forces of Grubby are now streaming forward. All these forces from TLO are very weak, and Grubby's now pushing forward with 180 food, drop in the 5th base of Grubby right now, but he's warping in some units to try to deal with this, and the Nexus actually is going to go down. The Nexus goes down. In the meantime, the forces of Grubby are now moving into the natural of TLO. TLO now accidentally lowering all his Vikings there down onto the ground. Not the best move there from TLO, but these Vikings are up on the high ground right now where Grubby has no vision, and these Vikings are actually dealing a lot of damage to these Colossi, forcing the forces of Grubby back despite still being at 180 food. Grubby, you cannot, his forces are not to be deterred from this aggressive state that he is in. TLO, as long as all these all this combat is going on the top side of the map, TLO expanding to these lower expansions, trying to see if he can't pull a win, trying to get his econ going as best as he can while the forces of Grubby are kept at bay. Forces of Grubby now moving across the map here, and looks like he's going to be trying to be aggressive. He is moving. He's actively switching attack sides. Notice that he pushed for a while along this attack path, then he switched it up, decided to attack along this path. He is poking in repeatedly. He knows he's maxed, and he's just constantly sacrificing a lot of units. He's macking too. He can do a lot of macking as well, but in this game he's doing a lot of maxing, trying to do a lot of poking, trying to find weaknesses in his opponent. He knows he's ahead in the food count. He's so far been able to get a lot of worker kills. So far at 57 workers killed. That is so many workers killed. In the meantime, he's just poking left side, right side, trying to look for weaknesses in TLO's play, forcing TLO to use a lot of his APM to be switching sides, and trying to keep him off of macroing too heavily. One Zealot now going down for Grubby. I don't know if that actually got placed there from a Warp Prism. I'm actually looking for a Warp Prism right now to see if that is how that Zealot indeed got there, but it looks like if there was a Warp Prism there, I missed it. And now it looks like the forces of Grubby are once again going to be pushing along this top attack path, going to be trying to deal some damage. All the forces of TLO being forced to run a marathon back now to their base, all the way back, dealing a lot of damage to the production structures of TLO. A nuclear strike coming down for TLO, forcing the forces of Grubby back. Grubby is now being forced to pull back, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him just pull back and then push against that other attack path once again. Nice Psystorm there goes down for Grubby. So much damage being done by those Psystorms. Very nice Psystorms going down for Grubby, and it looks like, no, Grubby is just going to be pushing in here again, and no, looks like Grubby's having a little bit of indecision as to where he wants to attack. He's deciding that yes, indeed, he's going to be sending a few forces here at the front to poke at the front to keep the forces of TLO here. In the meantime, all of his forces are now moving into the mining bases of TLO. He's going to be able to deal a lot of damage down here, and all the forces of TLO now being forced to move in, stimming in the back. More Psystorms preventing the forces from moving in too much here. There are so many Colossi, 5 Colossi on the field right now for Grubby, and I'm actually trying to watch the minimap very closely here, just because Grubby's been so very careful about doing a lot of drop style play and a lot of small groups of units attacking in the back, but the forces of TLO are just disintegrating to all the Colossi of Grubby right now. Grubby staying matched. Every time he loses a unit, he's just remaxing, and TLO GG's out of this game. This means that Grubby has managed to take off a game. This means we are at 2-2, ladies and gentlemen, and we are going into Game 5 in just a moment.